you like the putting Vanek with Sedina maybe also for the high IQ, but also the language, and then Glendening, you have the speed and the defense?
Yeah, I think with Luke, what it gives you a little bit is it gives you that forecheck pressure, net presence, defensive accountability. The last thing you want is to have a group of offensive players playing D-zone coverage the whole time. So I think that helps. I think with Vanek's a really, really smart veteran. They're not the same country, they're not countrymen, but he's been through, what Zadina's going through. He was a high pick. He's had to be in a lot of similar situations, and so I think he can help him. The other thing is he's just got, as you said, a high hockey IQ, and ultimately he's probably the best passer on our team. And as I just spoke to Philip, his job's to shoot when he gets those passes, not to look to go back to him and things like that. It doesn't mean he can't make a play, but I expect him to shoot pucks tomorrow.
How much, I don't know, do you have an X number of minutes you plan on using them, or is it just going to be a feel basically game to game? Or
it's going to be a feel. I'm not going to force feed minutes. Especially in game one. I think Elias Pettersson played 8 minutes his first game, didn't he? Everybody questioned if that was the right move. Seems like a pretty good move now. Sometimes they gotta take steps into it. Now, I think if he's playing on that line, he's gonna. Vanny plays around 14 minutes. Vanny's on a power play unit that'll probably go out first, so that'll give him a few more minutes. So, I think I don't want to put a minute time period on. If he goes out and plays great, then you earn more minutes. Now it's not going to be a thing if he doesn't play good where he's going to get benched per se. But again, you got to ease your way into it a little bit.
It's a shot that you look like you're going to give him a chance on one of the power play units as well.
Yeah. No, part of this is seeing where he's at. How ready is he for some of these things? For the long term for this organization, where is he at? So, and by long term I mean next year. So putting him on the power play there. It gives him an opportunity to showcase what I think one of his best attributes are. He's played different spots over in GR. He's played on that flank. He's played on the opposite flank where he's more on his forehand side. He's played in the middle. Where I've seen him be his best is shooting the one-timers on that side, so I'm hoping he can shoot a few in the net.
Does it help that with the fact there's a max of 9 games, he knows he's being sent down, and it's not dependent on how he plays. It's just a contractual.
Yeah, I think it's good for everybody, that he's given. You like this to be less pressure than more pressure. I think the more pressure, the harder it is, and so hopefully he knows he's here to get a good feel. He knows he's here to help us win some hockey games, but he also knows he's going back down. And I think part of what is hardest for most people is the unknown, and so there's a known here, and it'll be max 9 games, and we all know that.
He still had to earn this too, though, I would imagine, right? I mean, if he wasn't doing the job down there,
Ken Holland is rightfully so anti-entitlement, and I think he's put our young people in position to ultimately have success here, showing patience at times when other people didn't want him to have patience, because he understands what entitlement does, and entitlement is not good for people's development. So, I think it was important for Philip to go down and really earn it, and he has, and he's done a good job, and I think he's playing. The other thing you'd like to do is get guys up here when they're playing their best hockey, and I think he's played his best hockey of the year the last little bit.
Looks like with Bowie, maybe want to get him a couple practices before putting him in for his first game.
Yeah, and part of that for sure is trying to put guys in position to be successful. Today's practice wasn't a real structural practice. Not that Mondays will be either, but at least gives us some time to go through some of the systematic stuff. There'll be some things that are different, and it's hard when you're a player and you're doing something totally different than what you've done to play with your true instincts. So, we had a good meeting with him today. He met with Doug Huda today as well, and so lots going on in his head, and let's give him a few days to watch us play a little bit, get a better feel for how we play. He said he watched last night. It was definitely some differences from how they play in Washington, and at least that gives him a better feel for it.
Jensen, you logged a lot of minutes on the PK. What are your plans as far as replacing some of those minutes there?
Well, I think as you saw last night, Daly and Hronek, and those are the two guys that are kind of playing the right side on the PK to start. Bowie will eventually get some of those opportunities as well. Greener we use when needed, depending on penalties. Croner would probably be in the same boat right now because on the left side, depends if who's in the lineup, who's not. But we try to use Croner on the left side, DK on the left side, Erickson on the left side, and that's where Gents got lots of minutes on the right, was because we didn't have as many options on the right. But one of the things that when Philip Hronek went down is we asked that he was killing penalties, and Ben Simon used him in a second pair killing penalties, and we're going to kind of do the same thing. We're not going to throw him in necessarily in the first pair, but we want to see how good he can get at it.
Do you remember if you mentioned it last night or not, but what do you know about Bowie, and what does he bring to the table, basically?
Well, you do lots of research, and I didn't ahead of the trade, but once you get the trade, you do lots of research, and what I know is extremely hardworking, very, very good person, can skate, has real range, has probably yet to find his niche of how he can be better than other people in the NHL, and that's why he's here. If he had found it in Washington, he'd still be in Washington. So his challenge is to say, how could I be better at something? What am I going to be better at than everybody else? What I told him is, the difference between us and Boston, us in Boston and us in Montreal right now, if you look at it, those are two playoff teams where we'd like to be, is they both have given up significantly less goals than us. So if he can help us from a defensive standpoint, that's his first, to me, your first step. Most players have to come in, they got to play great defense earns trust. Trust means more minutes, and then your offense comes. And so I want to make sure that he's grounded that way. We need to become a better defensive team, and part of that is the individual pieces we have. I said to him the same thing I said to Nick Jensen 6 years ago. Use your skating as a defensive weapon. Everybody always thinks of it as an offensive weapon, when in reality it can be just as powerful a defensive weapon. And he's a good skater with a big body. Let's close fast on people and use your skating as a defensive weapon.
Would you ever have him do what you had with Green, like defend skating forward?
Yeah, that's something that him and I talked about is sometimes you can get up gap, lateral gap, and skate forwards, and then plays as easy as you can, just flip your hips and skate backwards. And so, it's a little bit unique to how we play. Wash plays a little different with the way that they have their defensemen track back. So I'm hoping he can use, some guys are better skating forward, some guys are better skating backwards. We'll see what he's better at.